Hello everybody, welcome back to Gelvin Valley. It's a beautiful morning. We are trying to get our barley harvest finished. We could see finished harvest across the way in the field across the valley that we own, our largest field. But we have this field that we're on, which we're just opening up at the moment, and the field next door. Fortunately, we have good weather. Looks like it's going to hold for a while too, but what isn't holding, maddeningly, are prices. So, since the bank has so much patience with us, we just might hold this barley in storage for quite a while yet. Whatever we did, the price is depressed, wheat is coming back up, and kind of like we've talked in previous videos, I think it's a function of time and how much has been sold into the system. But it is positive, it is coming up, but it needs to come up a lot more. Although we do have a fair amount in storage, so who knows, maybe we can solve our cash problem once and for all. And we're not that far in the hole, all things considered. Let us fire up our machines, and you know, this corner here, I am strongly considering changing and maybe planting some grass here, just taking out the corner because it is too hard. The combine operator is so silly, he keeps wanting to stick the header through the fence right here, and no matter what I've done to that fence, he still wants to do it and ends up getting it stuck, and I have to fix it. But for the moment, I'll maybe think of that or consider it when we take the field out, cultivate it. But at the moment, we are harvesting. Almost ready to... Actually, you know what? Hopefully my unloading auger doesn't hit that there tree. Oh, fortunately it passes through it. If only it did that in real life. I'm going to pull back the higher and just back up a little bit here. Let me try to do this decently, not quite like in the past, and cut myself an area here to come alongside with the trailer. There, that ought to work. Okay, don't know if he is smart enough to go pick it up. Let's see what he's got. I somehow doubt he's going to... Well, wonders never cease. You know, course play is just one of those things that when it works fabulously, and when it doesn't, it wrecks everything and takes lots of time to deal with. But I gotta say, he did that pretty well, probably because we parked our combine the way we did. And you know, with a combine, by the way, I'm considering... what do you mean he's telling you to stop? Alright, hold on. Can you find the door, pal? That is the question. Can you find the door? Color me impressed. That worked perfect. See, it's stuff like this. It gives a guy hope that, you know, course play is finally gonna behave the way it should. If only it did. If only it did. Alright, let me try to cut this off here just a little bit. I'll pull in my unloading auger. Take... I don't know if it's smart enough to... Oh, and there's that silly bar at the top of the screen. Probably because I'm doing all this on a laptop instead of some highfalutin computer. You know, he's probably going to have difficulty making the turn, so let me just help the guy out. cut my own corner here just a little bit. That way next time when he comes through, it'll hopefully be a little bit easier for him. Alright, there we go. He's doing what he's supposed to do. Where am I? This is kind of sitting on the street up here. Probably okay. Don't know that I need any more fuel down there at present. Let me wake up my tractor here and try to take care of our hillside. Get this show on the road, because I'm assuming, since Course Play behaves perfectly now, that everything will happen according to plan over in the field. I think we know how that's going to turn out. Anyway, I'm looking forward to completing harvest and getting... Oh, yes, that was a warning. And getting on with the baling as soon as I say no problem. Oh, just give him a sec. Have patience. Can he make the turn? Yeah, he's not ready to offload anyways. Why are you turning around there? There's nothing, that's not an edge, pal. Good grief. There's some things you just don't want to see. It's kind of like in real life. Sometimes a boss really doesn't want to know what the employees are doing. You're sometimes just better off not knowing what they're doing, what they're thinking, and what they're saying about you behind your back. Oh gosh, that's beautiful. Look at that. How could a person not like this map? It is just awesome. Just awesome. Even in good old Farm Sim 15. You know, the map author has poked his head into our videos here a little bit and left a couple comments. Maybe if anybody would like to see this in a later version of Farming Sim, maybe you could persuade him to convert it over. I don't know what kind of a Herculean project that would be, but it would definitely take some doing. And you know, even if he did that, I somehow doubt, and maybe he'll hear me say this and say I'm wrong, but I somehow doubt it'll have the charm that it has here in the Farm Sim 15 version. Some of it is the colors, it's just the mixture of everything that makes this work, at least to me. The colors change, of course, you know, when you go to the newer versions, the lighting changes, the sky changes. Lots of changes happen when you change versions of Farming Sim. So even if it was upgraded, it probably wouldn't have the same feel. Alright, I'm coming. Oh yes, well, you know, when you're a bad driver, you need to go sit in the corner. Isn't that what Mother made us do? Let's see if I can park you here. You're not going to just wig out. Combine. How much is in the combine? Nothing. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, so it's putting something in. No. Get out of there. Oh my goodness. What are we treed on? Look what this... Yeah. This is a field badly in need of a border or grass verge, whatever you call it. Oh, that was so close. So close to having to do a reset and drive across town to get the thing again. Wow. You know, about... What did I just say about not wanting to know what the employees are doing? Yeah, I better retract that. Well, surely, hopefully he ain't gonna try to climb that one down there. Alright. Okay, let me remove combine assignment. Drive course, he's waiting. Nobody in reach. And here, maybe I should just help shepherd him through this lump. Just kind of cut this off here, so next time around he'll, yeah, for whatever reason the AI doesn't look that far ahead, so you know what, I'm just not going to take any chances. I'm going to turn the corner for him. Not that I'm any better driver than the AI, maybe marginally so. Alright, hopefully now he's out of trouble. But you know what? Here's something else I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to make this a smoother edge so he isn't pointing downhill. I'm gonna cut this little nubbin off here. Actually, I wanna leave just enough, kind of like so. Back up. Come catch this area. Do you guys do this? I don't know, I'm just trying to help the hired guy going around and around. I'm making things a little... Shoot, for all I know, he'll still figure out a way to make it a jagged edge again. It's just kind of interesting how the hired help works on this. And I'll try to take this bulge kind of like so, just to make her straight. Alright, bud. You're on your own. Come back in here. Continue windrowing for the baler. Well, the topic I wanted to visit about in this session actually has to do with modding. There was something that came up recently in a Discord group, that I'm part of, that, kind of revives a topic about modders and modding. I'd be curious if anybody here, your impressions on it, either as users of mods or as makers of mods, yourself. We all know this is just a game, right? We do it for fun and relaxation or whatever, and it seems like it shouldn't be that big a deal, or that's one school of thought. But there is something about making mods and permissions for them, the use of them, the uploading of them, that frequently lands people at loggerheads with one another. Right now my tractor is at loggerheads because he's an idiot. How about that, Chief? Will that help? Yeah, he must have a combine assignment. When someone creates something, and I don't know how copyright law works. I've heard of the term Creative Commons. I've heard there's varying types of copyright with varying ability of people who use someone's design to distribute it, whether with or without compensation. To the original author of it, whether it's with or without attribution, or what type of attribution, usage restrictions, and so forth and so on. For the game, I believe the Giants' terms of service, that legal document that comes with the game that we all agree to, but that nobody ever reads. I think in there it says, you know, you're not allowed to sell your mods for money. Good grief. And apparently you're not allowed to turn your tractor loose. You silly guy. You know, if you just stayed off the fence, it would help all of us appreciate you more. Can I navigate that? Oh, good grief. I think I'm gonna gotta put four-wheel drive. Can I? Ah, gracious me. Your combine, can you give us a moment? And I may tip you down there just slightly. I don't know what that does with its algorithm. Here, we'll try to get out of his way. Pretty sure he wants to head to storage. So over the years, and I first came to this game, I think, roughly in the fall or right around Christmas of 14, so 10 years, give or take. You know, I learned a lot at the FSUK site back when it was open. Learned or met a whole bunch of modders, started learning what was important to them, became sort of a modder myself. I've released a few mods. I don't know that I would be called much of a modder, though I haven't released any in quite some time, but I think most of us tinker with this a little bit. They made the game very moddable, so most of us, well, I say most, many of us open the thing up, pop the hood, and fix various things along the way. But releasing it is another matter. And then somewhere in there, maybe it was Farm Sim 17, 19, I may be getting my history mixed up. The Giants themselves, and they're allowed to do this because this is their game, they decided they would post mods on Mod Hub for pay. And I believe it's based on the number of clicks, how many downloads they get, and I think it was peanuts. I mean, we're talking tiny amounts, you know, that they pay these guys. I imagine some of the really high-profile modders, you know, that have a mod that is just, you know, kind of like a video goes viral, you know, that everybody wants to have. I imagine they can take home some decent payments. Don't really know what all that possibly is or how much some of them have been paid, but for the most part, I mean, when you get pennies for hundreds of clicks, you know, it isn't going to accumulate a fortune in a hurry. I mean, as they say, keep your day job. But anytime in life when money gets involved, it colors how people look at the world, I guess you could say. And you know, so it became a bigger deal for someone to post someone else's mod, you know, on some third-party site, because you really were stealing revenue from them by not having it on the main mod hub. So there's a number of sites out there where mods get posted, anybody can upload them, and you know, some of the modders who posted on the main mod hub with the Giants, you know, end up losing out on a little bit of revenue. You know, will it break the bank? I don't know. I don't think it personally amounts to all that much. But it's a principled thing. Jiminy. I'm sorry. Sometimes, Courseplay, you are pathetic. How did it work? How did it work all peachy the first time? That's, oh, and of course we're sat here and the other guy doesn't want to back up, doesn't want to crinkle the tin. What a gentleman. Alright, through the gate we go as we continue. Turn off our GPS. Narrow gate. So, having now created a few mods myself, just observing my own reactions, I guess, to, because I've had it done to me. I spent a lot of time at FSUK, and it was a forum environment, where people help people, and one of the things I like to do sometimes is help other people solve problems. The game, especially when odds are involved, you are bound to have problems of some sort or other at some point. And so when people would have those and post it to the forum and say, here's a situation, what do I do? It was fun many times to try to help other people find a solution. And sometimes the solution involved creating a mod right on the spot. Particularly, for me, I enjoy doing it when it involved a Lewis script. And really, the side benefit of helping other people was the learning opportunity that gave me. It's something my mentors, Entro, encouraged me to do, was to try to help other people solve their problems. And so I tried, just for the learning, that it helped me with. But anyway, a lot of times a mod would be created in a forum post. And I'm aware of one instance where somebody took my forum post and they turned it into the main mod hub. They gave it to the giants and started making money off it. And I gotta say, I wasn't exactly thrilled with that. They didn't credit me. I think I would have been happy if they would have credited me and said, hey, this guy's never gonna upload it, which I basically decided I'm not gonna do. Put anything up to the mod hub. First off, I don't think mine are good enough, and I'm kind of in older versions now anyhow. But second off, there's a whole lot of hoops you got to jump through to get it uploaded to the giants. And from some of the modders I've talked to or listened to as they share some of their ordeals and getting it there, it's no picnic. And if it's their money, if the giants are going to pay for something, I guess it's their right to have very high standards. But anyway, like I'm saying, someone stole my mod basically and put it on there. There was other times where, and this has traditionally been a pretty big deal with modders for one simple reason, I believe, and that's the idea of controlling where, or attempting to control where a mod is uploaded to. Some of it, I gotta say, is probably just, personal pride or whatever of the modder. We control so little in life, and you pour your heart and soul into a mod, working very hard on it, putting hundreds of hours, or in the case of apps, maybe even thousands of hours of your personal time into it, only for some jerk to, not abide by your wishes and just distribute it all over creation. So I acknowledge there is that part of it, but there's also another aspect of it, in that modders generally, the good ones, are responsible for what they create. And afterwards, if people are having trouble with it, or there's bugs that they discover, the modder a lot of times needs to make adjustments, and there needs to be a place, where people can contact the modder to let them know that there's something wrong. So that's oftentimes why they would want to control it. For example, initially all my mods were released on FSUK, and they had kind of a mechanism set up where, what are you going up there for? Where those that downloaded a mod, they could report bugs, and the modder could come and clear those bugs up, release additional versions. It was a very neat system. And if someone uploaded your mod to some other third-party site, and then they had trouble with it, they may leave a comment on a site you've never heard of, never been to, and your reputation gets dragged through the mud because they say, this is a junk mod or whatever. It's like, no, I mean, sometimes, as hard as a modders try to iron out the bugs, to have it tested, sometimes you just can't find them all. And so it's the users that help kind of with the final bit of the process. And having a designated place, where you can get into that is very helpful. So some of it isn't just modder pride, to not send it all over. Some of it is very practical. But even beyond that, I think a lot of modders would even tolerate their mods being sent all over as long as the credits are maintained. Just give credit. Who created it? And if there's many instances of what would happen is, let's take this tractor for example. This New Holland tractor here. Now, granted, this is a Giants tractor. It's an in-game tractor. But let's say someone made a mod out of it. And then let's say some other person comes along, takes your tractor, and maybe they add what would be something they add? Maybe some different decals on the side of it. Or reskinned it, but it's basically the same thing. And then they put their name on the whole thing as if it's their mod. Well, let me tell you, it's way harder to make a tractor as a mod than it is to put some little doodad on it and then claim that it's your own. Now, arguably, to do it politely in a fully open game, what someone probably should do is it would say, hey, mod was created by, then they say the first mod author, and then they would put kind of in a change log, here's what I added to it, so that the crediting process is totally clear. But a lot of times that just doesn't happen. There are modders that will do it, that are very polite in how they handle that. But I don't know if it's fair to say many, won't do that. And a lot of it's about the crediting, and mappers, I believe, have it particularly difficult. When you just look around in here, you see all these trees and foliage and just riddled with all these 3D objects. It is a Herculean task for a map author to fully give credit, where credit is due, to the people who provided. I mean, look at that stone wall. Someone out there made that. Who made it? I don't know. Maybe Wes has it documented in his. It's just there are so many things that are in a map. I wouldn't fault a mapper for getting some of those details wrong. But what you do hope that you see is that they make an effort. So I always appreciate it, when you open a map and you see lists of people in there where and identifying where they've gotten certain objects from or whatever, some attempt to give credit to others all the way down to those that helped them test it. And I've tried to emulate that. What are you doing? Hey, he's gonna head out the door on a road we don't typically travel. Okay. Alright, I think he still needs a little bit more. But again, I go back to the first comment that I made. It's just a game, right? So technically speaking, maybe none of us should care or get too bent out of shape when something isn't handled completely towards our liking because, well, why did we make the mod? Was it just to make ourselves look good, to a whole bunch of people, or was it to have fun, or enjoyment? I mean, what was the purpose? And so, like I say, somebody stole my mod. I'm not happy about that. I've never forgotten it. But I'm trying to get over it. I think I'm basically over it. And there's, other things. I've had my mods sent to all the other third-party sites that are out there too. I don't particularly mind. It's just, I hope people understand if they're out there and there's bugs, there's multiple versions, it means I can't fix them, for people or and that part's tough too. If you have a crummy version of your mod out there and someone has it, yeah, maybe that doesn't make your reputation look very good, but it is what it is. But crediting is arguably probably the place where modders get the most upset when it isn't done. But it's interesting. I was just hearing the other day, technically speaking, or at least so someone told me, technically speaking, when you do a YouTube video with someone's mod, you probably should ask for permission. And I gotta say, I really haven't done that. To me, if I had a mod to release, back when I did it, the very first mod that I did was a script where when you pull cultivators and plows in the field, it would have rocks come up. And when I released it, a little bit of time went by. I started looking to see where all it went. There's a bell. Was there pictures of it somewhere? Was someone using it in a YouTube video? And I found a couple. And I was just tickled to death that someone was out there using my mod and commenting on it, enjoying it, whatever. I was thrilled. There were a couple even in different languages, and I had taken pains in making the mod to make sure it had multi-language support. They didn't need to ask my permission. I didn't care. It was just neat to see other people enjoying it, which is part of the reason, I wanted to create some mods. But I've heard that technically maybe you should get permission. I've heard some other YouTubers comment periodically, well, I can't play a particular map because it isn't publicly released, or sometimes they'll say they're doing it with permission. I don't know if we just get gun shy at times, or what the issue is, and everybody's sensitivity on it is going to be a little bit different. What I do know is just umpteen problems have happened over the years, with people not respecting the modders' work or their wishes, or just being mean-spirited. And it can happen on both accounts. Modders aren't perfect people either, and tempers can flare, things get said. But I don't know, I just kind of wanted to talk about the topic again. It's always been something of interest to me as to how this happens, and kind of how a person can feel after you have spent hundreds of hours working on something, just to have someone readily dismiss it, by not abiding by whatever wishes you had for it. And until you've had to be the one that's up until 3 a.m. in the morning on a work week, working on something, trying to get it done, and doing that potentially night after night until it's finished. Until you've done that, you don't really know what it feels like to have someone kind of pull the rug out from under you, with something you're sharing with the public. But I don't know. I've tried to resist any temper tantrums over it. It just is what it is, and just try to enjoy the community, enjoy that other people, or see that other people enjoy it, and just enjoy the game and kind of fly low. For all I know, I got blood pressure issues, and you only live once anyhow. So anyhow, the bell rang, and I think we're done with this episode. So I'm going to call the episode here. We're almost done with this field. Y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.